got a very exciting presentation conversation for tonight, and hopefully everybody is all the better for it. I want to thank everybody for joining. Tell me who's on tonight. So so far we got 10 people. Tell me who we got.
Okay, I see there's Lindsay, Sophie, Dominique, welcome.
Welcome, Dominique.
Natalie is in the house, Ruth, and Devon. I don't know if I can see some of the other people, but yeah, we have 8 people on now. Welcome. Welcome, Visionbuildaz family.
Okay, when it was 10, then it dropped 9. Now, I'm seeing some comments. Can you read them to me? Because I keep peeking under my glasses to see them, and I know it looks very tacky on the screen.
Sure. Devon is saying, my work week was very fun and productive. I am taking a day off after putting in an 80-hour work week.
Whoa. That's like, Amon, you got 15 jobs. That's a lot of work.
And Ramona Jones is here. Howdy.
Ramona, hey Ramona Jones. Welcome. So, any other comments? Any other things before we go forward?
No. Oh, it's Alan. I apologize. Yes, you are one with your queen. It's Alan.
Well, welcome, Alan. Just as happy about having Alan. So, what we want to do is I want to talk about dreams and visions from somebody else's perspective, other than just mine, and a person who we're gonna call it small beginnings, big dreams. And I want to take this first from the perspective of Tabitha Brown, because I'm not yet at the place where I can show video on this, because we haven't gotten set up yet through OBS where we can show video. We're gonna put a link in the chat. I think Nellie's putting the link in the chat, and it's a short video, and I want you to look at it and doing our broadcast here and watch it. I think it's a minute long, and I'll start talking about it as you're watching it. I'll just go over some of the things that we're going to cover. But the powerful thing about Miss Tabitha Brown is, one, she's a believer. What denomination, all that, I don't know, I don't care. But she's really always gives glory and credit to God for her steps and what she accomplishes. And I respect her faith. And like I said, I don't get into the denominations on it, and I don't care. I love when people use the conversation of having a vision or a leading or prompting, and they're true to that, unseen, unidentifiable to the normal eye or to the average person, but they, on that instinct and in trust, go forward and don't back down. It's a powerful thing to be able to go forward without evidence in the natural, that you can show somebody else and convince them that you're not crazy, but then you still stay committed to going forward and accomplishing. So if you have, almost call it like a moment of silence. Did you send them the link yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Click on that link. Watch it.
I had been on disability for over a year. Wow. And he was the only one working, so savings were gone. Right. We said, let's write in our notebooks everything we're believing in God for. Crazy faith. Just like nothing is too big. Right. Just put it out there. I had maybe $300 in my bank account. Okay. No money. That's not a lot of money. Not a lot of money, especially not in Los Angeles. No, it's almost no money. You're broke. You're broke. I can't pay that cell phone bill, okay? You're broke. But I put in there, I wanted to buy a house.
You could have been
next year, right? In 2018, I wanted to be debt free. I wanted to pay off my car. My car was like $11,000. I'm putting stuff on there that didn't make no sense. I was like, okay, Lord, I need
outrageous dream. Yeah.
To me, $10,000 by the end of the year, just so I can catch up. That's what I said. I was like, $10,000. I need $10,000 by the end of the year. I want to retire my husband in 2 to 5 years.
There's nothing in your life at that point that is looking like retire anybody. No. But you put that down on paper.
And that next year, when I was
I'm literally getting like teary eyes.
This is the God honest truth. The first check I ever received after my viral video was $10,000. And did that video on December 30th of 2017.
Whoa.
The exact amount I asked God for.
Right.
The next thing was like I paid my car off that April, that $11,000. That year in October we bought a house. How, Lord?
Right.
How? Within 2 to 5 years I want to retire my husband. I retired my husband in 2021. Like everything on that list flew off that paper.
Whoa.
And my husband enjoying this.
Okay, so let's deal with this stuff. Now I don't know what everybody's faith is, but this is powerful. She wrote down what she considered crazy, ridiculous faith. But next week we were going to really get through some step-by-steps. But we need to start first with a foundation, and the foundation is, what can you actually believe? Now, it's one thing to say, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to win. But not everybody's going to win because everybody's not going to win. And I'm going to explain that a little bit, right? Everybody's not going to win because everybody's not going to win. What do I mean by that? Not because I'm saying you're not because the world and situations are saying you're not, because you're not saying I'm going to win. You're not approaching it with I'm going to win. But what if I say that and it doesn't work? Well, then you keep saying it till you win. Everybody's not going to win because everybody's not going to win. There's an attitude that says no is not an option, but then it demands that you line up in ways and in behavior and in thought process and in attitude that makes you align with the success you're asking for, believing for. I'll give you an example. I don't know Miss Brown, Tabitha, but here's what I know. She had to come to a realization that her work ethic had to be bulletproof. She committed to do something with a plan, and I'm sure, I guarantee you, just from my own experience, she had to be willing to pivot wherever the demand required her to. Now, pivot doesn't mean turn from your dream or turn away from it, but it means turn sometime from the method that you set in your mind. Unfortunately, a lot of church people are very irritating to me and get on my nerves because they believe that it's magic. They believe, well, I trust God, I believe God. She said, and then I got this video, and it went by, and then I got this, and then this, and then this, I bought a house. And you're like, see, you just say it. It's just like the magic saying, just click your heels 3 times, says no place like home. Yeah, but are you willing to change your behavior? Are you willing to change your environment? Are you willing to mature and carry yourself in a way that demands wealth or success comes to you? And because this is about success, that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm talking about it from this angle. Behavior traits of mine had to change. The type of people I attract had to change. The way I respond to the people that come around me had to change. Learn how to shut my mouth when I need to shut my mouth, learning when to speak up when I needed to speak up. All of those things had to change to align. I had to start watching wealthy people and watch what I'm about to say, in a lot of ways, mimic them in their behavior, because I wanted by association to draw to me what they drew to them. So I had to change my behavior to align with the people who I wanted to be like. So I'm just going to lay that out there for the beginning there, at which I see a lot of comments popping up. So talk to me. What are we getting in here?
So I see Lindsay said that, first Ruth said, I love her. Lindsay said that was so encouraging.
What I would like to know in detail what was so encouraging, but keep going.
Okay. I just put in a quote, what you said. Are you willing to change? Are you willing to change where it demands wealth and success to come to you? Ruth said yes to that answer, that question. And Devon said you have to put in the work more than just speaking about it.
Come on, T.
Lindsay said, I like that, a solid work ethic. And Devon said, adjust to the adaptation. Wow, okay.
This is real talk.
Lindsay put in details. She was writing where I am right now. Down to the last day of the year, God answered her prayer. In between, she put that work in, though.
Now, watch this. and Deron understands work. Devon understands work. Work, change, commitment. Faith is not, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and eventually God's going to bless it. You know, they always say that's the definition of insanity, and it absolutely is. Doing what you know how to do got you where you are. It won't get you any further. A lot of people say they understand that, and a lot of people like to talk big, but they don't understand the truth of that. It's not just doing things different, but it's approaching things different. And I'm gonna make sure I put that down there. It's not just doing things different, it's approaching it different. Let me put it to you like this. You get in the ring every week and you train how to block punches, and that's what you learn. And that's all you learn, and you do it all the time. You can't win fights just blocking punches. You got to knock the opponent out. So you have to learn more than just the work ethic, but you have to also learn how to change to fit into the environment. So I have in this season, in just the past couple of months, changed where I live. And I didn't even think about it as a big deal, but the Lord spoke to me, and I spoke to the Lord about getting another car and renting out the car that I have already. You know, they got the Toro app and all that, and you can rent out your car. And just how God just blessed me. I went yesterday with cash and picked up an X5. And never had that experience before. But I used to say, one day I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to walk in the dealership and say, I'm buying it cash, you know, and I don't buy new, just for the record. I never buy new, certified pre-owned or pre-owned. I don't buy new because that's not an investment. That's foolishness. Thank you. Whoever said congratulations. Thank you. I don't buy new because the car loses a third of its value the moment you pull it off the lot. And to anybody who says, well, I want to get a car new like that, God bless you, but to me, you're not a person that thinks strategically. And I said this to somebody yesterday, were asking me why not. And I said, if you went to buy a house, and I give you a simple example, and the house is $300,000, and I'm just using that as a number. I know houses get up there, but let's say $300,000. And the guy say, the moment you open the door and walk in that house for the first time and turn on the lights, it's only going to now be worth $200,000. A third of the value of the house will drop off the moment that you step into the house. How many of you would say, oh, I'll take that deal. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. A third of them. So if it's worth $3 million, the moment you walk in the door and sit on the couch is now worth $2 million. Just like that, done. Nobody would say yes to that deal, but you do it with a car all the time, which makes no sense. A third of the value drops off of it. So I'll let somebody else drive it and take that hit, and then I'll take it. I'll take it with 19,000 miles. I'll take it with 20,000. I'll take it with 50,000. I'll take, depending on the car, because you took the hit of that 1/3 loss, and now I drive it, and it retains its value even for a trade-in. That's just a side note, just to let people know, because a lot of people don't understand that that's the way it could work for you. You don't have to buy something that's a liability all the time. And because we're consumers a lot of times and not investors, and we don't think about using money to make money, every time we get money, we think we got to go on a spending spree, and it's a sad thing. But that's not the point. Let's get back to Tabitha. So she said she had this dream, and she put it out there in a place that for her at that time was unbelievable for her. It was no way possible in her mind that that could be a reality, but she decided to step out and do that. Everything that I've done since the end of the year with this new house, new apartment, and everything was me stepping out in a way that, God, you told me to do it, but I don't even see the logic of how this could work. Nevertheless, I'm gonna let my net down. She came out with this dream, and she said, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give God everything that I think is impossible. If you don't believe in God, then I'm gonna write down everything I don't even think is possible in my strength. And this is where I want to really try to bring it home tonight. What is it that you need to do in this season of your life that's impossible in your mind, in your own strength? Now, you don't have to write it here, but it would be nice if you did. But put down or give yourself thought about, I want to say 5 things that you can say, I want to see by the summer, by July, these things manifest in my life. Really? Yes. I want you to right now write down, give yourself a goal right now as we're talking of 5 things that maybe you've been wanting, that's been evading you, that you've been afraid to say. And like she said, that if you said it to somebody, they look at you like you were totally stupid. Not things you can possibly do, not things that, yeah, as soon as your job calls you back, you can do. Not if you, no, stuff that you go, whew. Okay, that's a big one for me. I want to know. And if any responses come up, Edwards, please let me know about them. But I wanted 5 things that are challenging to you that you really believe and need God to do right now. And if you did it, if you get the 5, even if you don't post it in the post, if you write them down, just put in the chat, I got my 5.
So they're coming in already, Mr. Brown.
Come on now.
Ramona Jones said, book published. So she wants to publish a book.
Is that her or Alan? Because he stepped in and said it was him.
Not sure. Okay, maybe it's Alan. Alan, a book published. And he also said totally debt-free.
Those are goals.
Yes. Lindsay said, love this. We'll definitely put 5 things that by the summer, things I want to see manifest in my life, write them down. Ruth said, one of the things is buying out this house so my family owns it. So
Nice.
Buying out the house that she lives in.
I like that. If you don't mind me asking, Ruth, and if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to answer, how much do you have to put up to buy your family out of debt? Because that's what she's saying. Come out of debt. Get the house out of debt and make it owned. I'm curious to know that, because sometimes it's good to speak them numbers up in the air.
Right. Nice.
How much?
Exact number, $277,251. $277,251.
See, that's awesome. That's awesome, because that's a number. And that's a number you can put your faith and your heart straight toward. And now say, okay, what do I have to do to either chop that sucker down? I remember a time you would have said a number like that to me, I would have been, oh my God. Truthfully speaking, even just going yesterday and going buying a car, I'm going to tell you, I remember the time that was a ridiculous thing. I could go buy, I could do what she just said right now without even thinking about it. That if I said that number to God, God would be like, son, stop. Like, really? You could do that. Okay, stop. But I didn't get there without doing what I'm telling you to do right now. I didn't get there. And then, like I said, the association, putting myself around people and learning. I'm gonna tell you this, mimicking the behavior of successful people until I got it. Does that sound ridiculous to you? Well, people go on TikTok and learn other people's dances all the time and they make videos. So why can't you learn how rich people act and talk? I don't know if you pay attention to this and notice this, but I'm gonna put this out there for real truth and real revelation. I'm not taking sides on this, but I'm just gonna make a point. Jay-Z, Damon Dash. Just gonna put this out there. This gonna wind up being a separate clip, right? No diss to Damon Dash, no praise to Jay-Z, just looking at the facts. Jay-Z separated himself from them and he started to hang around Lior, and all of a sudden, the way he began to communicate changed and his conversation changed. I don't know if you noticed it. I don't care if you like him or don't like him. I'm talking about business right now. He put himself around people and all of a sudden his conversation changed. All of a sudden the way he moved changed. All of a sudden his language became more articulate. He didn't talk as ghetto or street as he used to. And I remember when Damon got upset, and he said he made Jay-Z, and Jay-Z did that record, and he came back and said, if you said people saying they made Hove, okay, so make another Hove. And he made a comment about they want to stay in the street, they want to be hood, and he want to move on. Peace to those who want to do that. Now, Jay-Z has been hanging around Warren Buffett, and so he did an interview with him and different people, and I'm watching, pay attention. Go back and look at Jay-Z's old videos. Look at him flowing and the way he talks and his hand gestures and his body language and everything. And then go look at his stuff today and tell me, does he flow like he flowed back then? Tell me, does he talk today like he talked back then? Tell me if he uses this and that, and you know what I'm saying, yo, tell me if he does that anymore. I'm telling you, he does not. And it's not just because he got older and he matured. It's because he put himself around people that were billionaires, and so he started talking like and carrying himself like billionaires. You want to get off of him? Let's go to Dr. Dre. Listen to how he talks now versus to how he talked back then when he was with NWA. And you're going to find the character and the conversation is different. Ice-T, or Ice Cube, all of them. I'm talking about, I'm using them for a reason. Street brothers, rappers, gangster, whatever. Talk that talk. Still can't talk that talk. Snoop Dogg. Listen to how Snoop talks now versus how Snoop talked then. Yeah, he still got his street in him, but his vocabulary is different. The way he carries himself, he run around hanging out best friends with Martha Stewart. He ain't up in her house acting the way he act in the hood is different. You put yourself around people that carry themselves a different way in a certain way. You want to be a hood N-word all the time? That's where you stand. You want to be a clown and a jokester and you want to be, fine. All that's good. But there's a circle for that. There's a perfect circle for that. And that's where you belong. And that's where you stay. And people of high value, Kevin Samuel's word, high value men, high value women is not hanging around people that don't talk and act and flow like they do. They'll put up with us for a minute if we stay like that, but it's going to be few and far between because the conversation of wealthy people is different from conversations of struggling people. It's different. And you learn to talk, the wealthy people talk, even while you're struggling. Listen to how Tabitha talks. I had a dream. I had a vision. My husband was a cop. He was out there in the street doing it. There's a reason she needed to retire him. 2 reasons. 1, because it was a dangerous job. 2, because in the policeman's environment, he's not going to be exposed to the spirit and the attitude and the conversation and behavior of the wealthy. It would never happen. She had to change his environment to match the environment that she was going toward. Got to get him out the street. Got to get him out on the beat. Got to get him off of that. Talk to me. Tell me what you're thinking.
Wow. That's good, Mr. Brown. The latter comment you made, I didn't think about that, but it makes sense. They're a partner. They're one. So she wanted her husband, well, of course, to retire him so he wouldn't be in a bad space physically, but I didn't even think about the mental part. Yo, that's, wow.
You can't hang around it.
Yeah.
The friends I know that just want to smoke and talk crap and chase women, I was like, dude, I can't be around you. Forget because I'm a Christian, because you're a weight, you're a drag. You are not going to be where I'm going to be in the next 6 months, never mind the next 6 years. Everybody let me take it another direction. Tyson talked about it, so I'm not saying anything offensive. Everybody who blew up and tried to bring their hood with them wound up back in the hood. 50 talks about that. And listen to how 50 Cent talks now in his conversation versus how he spoke back then when he came out. Listen to how he speaks now, even to how he spoke 2-3 years ago. He's building a network conglomerate. He don't even troll as much as he used to. He's in a different place now. And that attitude is demanding him to be something different. He's running around and hanging with Tyler. Why? Because he wants to learn what Tyler's doing. So when people try to say, you know, oh, you're going to be his competition, he got online and he said, stop the bull crap. Tyler's helping me. That's my boy. I'm rolling with him. He's checked Tyler on some things, and Tyler has accepted his checking him because Tyler needed some of that street from 50. That whole thing with Monique. He checked him. He said, yo, man, how you letting this happen? He said, I didn't tell people not to work with her. You didn't tell people to work with her. And you're a powerful man. And 50 put her back on. You understand what I'm saying? But she's learned from the situation. You notice she's not as mouthy as she was. You got to change to fit the environment that you want to roll in. You got to change people. You got to change personality. And it is, well, that's just who I am. And that's who you going to be till you die right there. Because you have to change. Your dreams will change you. Those visions will change you. You think I'm wrong? Let me give it to you from a biblical perspective for those of you who need some biblical proof about what I'm saying. Here we go. Good old Gideon. God comes to him, hiding in a wine press. I'm the weakest of the weak and the poorest of the poor, and my family is poor. And what did God do? He kept putting around situations to eliminate the group of people he was running with. Tell them to drink. All those who lap like a dog, get rid of them. And God shaved him down till he had barely enough people to pick it. Never mind to go wage war. He brought him down till he barely had enough people to go and protest their captivity. And then said, now, let me change your mind. And took him into the community, and he heard the people speaking of his victory before he even accepted it. And then he came back aligned with the personality, and the opportunity of thought for him to win. You can't win being you. You have to turn and be conformed to the person that you're supposed to be to win. And that's what I'm starting to see with people, and that's what I'm starting to take in about people. People who love to talk about winning. It sounds good, but to do the things or to change the tone and attitude that they have to become the winning person, they're not willing to do it, because that requires you to let go of something that you've already become comfortable with and trust. Let me say that again. To let go of things you've already been comfortable with and trust. And you got to let that go, and then you got to become something different. And man, it ain't fun becoming something different when you've been that thing for so long. And you will trust that thing even though it don't work for you, and you won't let it go. Talk to me. What you got? Any comments, any words, any questions?
Yes. There's some more people that have been writing in the chat. Dr. Angelique Brown said, I stand in agreement with you, Ruth, for that debt-free house. When I purchased my co-op in 2023, I stated to God that I want it paid in full by the end of 2025.
Right. Okay.
And Christine just joined us. Welcome, Christine. And she says, change your surroundings. It will change your outcome.
Absolutely. There's no other way to do it. That's not a suggestion. That's not a suggestion. That's a bona fide fact. That's not a suggestion. If you can't. Every successful person from the street, from the hood, the basketball players to whatever, that brought their crew along with them and tried to keep it real, wound up back down in the hood where they came from. Every single one of them. Some of them made the adjustment, turned around and came back out again. 50 said it. He said he did it and lost everything.
Thanks.
He turned it around. And now he came back out again. And that is the only way to realize a vision. So when Tabitha's saying I had to write these numbers down, I had to take these moves, okay, we could talk about a victory here and a victory there. I'm talking about a victorious lifestyle. She listed at least 5 things that all came to pass in it sounded like she said within less than 2 years. And the first one came to pass within a month. So I don't understand people who are always making claims but never seeing a victory. I don't get it. So I want to ask you, now that I've asked you to write down 5 things that are challenging to you, can you write down 2 that were challenging to you last year that no longer exist? Can you write down 2 things that faced you last year? And you can look now and say, that's no longer a problem, it's been manifested. And if not, you got a good chance of these 5 things winding up in the same place. So what are we identifying as our missing link or the change of person and opportunity that's keeping us from going to the next level? Don't say you're waiting on the Lord, because that's some old bull crap. That's God. God is not stagnant. You are. So talk to me. Talk to me and ask questions if you want. But I'm going to go back to talking about Miss Brown, Miss Tabitha Brown. So she put 5 major challenges out there. Major challenges out there. And then she stepped into them one by one by one. What did she say? She said it was obedience. Obedience to what? To what she knew, and whatever she knew was necessary to become where she was going. So throw out there for me a couple of things that you look at right now and go, this is it. Help me cross that bridge. And next week we're going to talk about, because she talked about trademark. She talked about a lot of stuff. I'm in the process for the first time of trademarking Visionbuildaz, You Ready, Letsgrow, all these things. And I'm going to tell you, trademark, you talking, depending on what it is, you talking about on average, just the name and maybe a phrase, I'm looking at 5-6 grand. Like, trademark is not cheap. So that means you really believe in yourself and you invest in. But I'll digress. We'll get on that another time. How do you then take that dream and bring it to a reality? I already talked about being able to pivot. Another way to pivot is, she referred to it as reintroducing herself when we get more into it. But you have to now be able to pivot. Change your environment, change your company, change your people, change your friendships. I'm not saying throw all of your friends away. I'm just saying put them in an egg carton and put them in the refrigerator, keep them fresh while you go and get some new eggs, because some of them, they have to just be gone. Their influence has to be gone. Their opinion and point of view in your life has to be gone. The way they see things and the way they deal with things, all of that for you is going to have to be gone for you to do what it is you wish to do. And I am very, very careful at this point when I'm talking to people. I'm around Lindsay a lot. She's the business partner, Nelly, and I have to constantly say, you guys do too much. Like you add too much friction and confusion and too much this. It could be that, could be that. You could get with this and you could get with that. Just come up with one clear thing and be still. And just walk that through. Take the steps you know to take. Stop, be still, listen until you hear the next step. It's just like a nav system. Your heart, God guides you in your heart. You go as far as you know to go, and then you stop and wait. Some people are not still long enough to hear what the next step is. They're always moving. They're always trying to, and for God's sake, stop trying to impress people with the journey on your way to where you're going. You don't need to tell everybody everything, and you don't need to show off everything, and you just don't. You don't have to. Just keep going. Just keep going. People will see it. People will know it. If it's real, you don't have to say it. They'll say it. So, that ability to hold that dream close to your chest and not let everybody touch it and pollute it and speak their opinion on it. Well, I felt discouraged. Yeah, well, because you let everybody touch your stuff. You let everybody put their hand and put their opinion on your dream. You got to stand still. You got to stand still. Now, I don't know who it was said be an author, but doing a book and putting a book out and being an author, that's not a 5-year process. That's a couple of months. It's really not that complicated. But what environment are you around? Are you around people who've done books that are going to guide you? And people are not going to guide you if you're already full of yourself and you already know everything. I really learned how to get quiet around people, man. Just really, especially when it's something, they got something I want. I want to just really be still and just hear. It's a lot to that. I guarantee you, Tabitha locked herself in her house and she didn't talk to anybody. And Tabitha I have heard her say on several occasions, my mentor told me blah, blah, blah. And I saw my mentor and my mentor said blah, blah, blah. So she has somebody that she receives counsel from and she sits in front of and lets them mentor her. All of this is part of putting people around you and changing your environment. I don't want to talk to somebody about what I'm trying to do that hasn't done it. And I definitely don't want to, but we both, struggling together. Well, that's fine, but then you're going to keep struggling together. I don't want to keep struggling with somebody. I want to go to the next level. Give me some comments, some likes, some questions, some whatever in the chat and about what I've said so far. Because I think I've covered all the bases that I wish to cover without some questions and comments.
Just some feedback. Alan said an upgraded vehicle. Ruth said, amen, Angie, never went through. But there was something I heard, Mr. Brown, that you said, I think this encapsulates what you said, having a teachable spirit, what that actually means. Because like you said, sometimes we're so much in our head, or we're not allowing ourselves to be around people that really can speak into our lives. We're talking too much. We need to be able to listen and go, okay, you're where I want to be. And so I want to be able to grab everything that this person is saying. I know I do that with you. And I know a few of us who are on here, we love to hear you speak and receive counsel and receive correction.
Not many people.
Oh.
No, not true. Not many people. They love to hear me talk, and they love this, and there's some people on here that they just like to hear and be able to be a part of the conversation, but they do not like to take instruction, like real instruction. They always want to talk about what they've done, but they never really, really want to show who they submit to and what they do. And it's crazy. I watched the process of people, like people that have been around a long time, as long as you, and the goals are still minuscule because they're not around people that's forcing them to be bigger. And for a while, I blamed myself, but here's what I'm learning. If I'm doing this and I'm an example and everybody around is not on the same page or doing the same, there's a problem. Either they don't want it, or they're comfortable where they are and talking about what they have, but not where they're supposed to be. And I guarantee you, if I ask everybody on here, are you where you know you're supposed to be in God? Have you in life, in choices, in dreams? Are you there? I guarantee you, everybody will say no. And if I say that, and if the answer is no, why are you comfortable parked where you are? Or boasting about what you have, if you know in your heart of hearts that you're not anywhere near what you're supposed to be. And that right there is humbling, because that's where I've been finding myself like, what I've accomplished, so what, I got a car, so what I move. It's like, that's not what I'm called to be. These are the steps I'm taking to get regularly. You're going to hear every time you speak to me almost every other month or every month. Okay, now I did this. Okay, and now I accomplished this. Okay, and now I'm moving over here. Okay, and now I just did this. Okay, and now I just closed this deal. Because I know I'm catching up. I know that I've dragged my bottom too long, waiting for people and situations and circumstances to agree with what God has told me instead of just agreeing with what God has told me.
Mm-hmm.
So people being around and people constantly like, listen, it's that scripture, always hearing, never learning, never coming to the knowledge of truth. From such a one withdraw. We leave that part out, right?
Yeah.
So who's going to beat me? Who's going to get ahead of me? Who's going to do it better than me? Who? I'm open for that. Challenge me up. I want people around me that make me aware that I got work to do. That's big. That's big. I want people around me that make me aware that I have work to do. And you should want that too. If everybody around you looks up to you, you're an idiot. You done made yourself a big fish in a small pond and you happy with that. I can't pat you on the back. I want to be around people that make me feel sometimes inadequate. Like I haven't done enough. I don't want to be surrounded with a bunch of people that look up to me. I just don't like that. I don't want that. And if you're a teacher or a trainer, you will have that. That's part of your job. But then who are the people you are around that challenge you and make you say, I don't look up to you like you're God, but I respect your accomplishment and I want to learn whatever I need to learn from you to get where you are.
That's good, Mr. Brown.
Leave me some comments.
All right. Great wisdom right here, Lindsay, Ramona Jones, or Allen. You are a breath of fresh air.
Okay.
No, that's really good. Mr. Brown, I actually met with someone last night. I requested a dinner of someone that where someone in my field where I aspire to be where they are. So I think I may have mentioned to you or not, this person's in private practice. I told you that's a goal of mine. And I got a little bit more insight as to how she does what she does, right? You could charge insurance. She said, that's nickel and diming. It doesn't really, pay what you're actually worth. She gave me a system as to how she did it. And I was like, wow, okay, it's that simple. Like, I thought it was some big to do. And like you said, just sitting with the person and asking them and saying, well, how did you do this? How were you able to charge this amount? How are you able to keep this consistent and still write a book and still have podcasts and have a publishing deal? Like, I was like, oh, okay, so this is doable. This is really doable. Just like we sit with you and we listen. Just the proximity, like you talk about, it really makes it, in my mind, and maybe the people listening, like, okay, I can do this. This is not too far-fetched. This is not something that's too far that I can't reach. If I can reach you, if I can touch you, if I can ask questions, if I can hear what you did, maybe I can now take the courage to take the next steps.
Listen, and Devon text or put in the chat, I always put myself around people. And I know you do, because in the field you're in, you have to. If you want to grow up and blow up in the way that we're talking about, you have to be around people that are better at you and more skillful than you to grow it. You have to collaborate. You have to work in situations with people. And it's helpful, because we'll get into it even with Tabitha. She talks about partnerships. She talks about collaborations. She talks about people that are investing in a business. Even though her name's up front and she's the one you see, she talks about, she has partners in these businesses that she works with. And then if you got partners, you got to kind of bend and twist to the way they see things. Nellie working with me was challenging for her, because she was a hairdresser. That's what she did all day. And I was like, okay, but you're not a business. You're a hairdresser. You have to build a business. And this is where this whole product came from and how this whole thing came about. It's like, but transition her from being a hairdresser to being and being self-employed, because that's what I call somebody who has to work all day to make their money. You're not an entrepreneur, you're self-employed. So I have to transition you now from the mind of working all day to building something that works for you. That's different for a person that's hands-on, hands-on. So when people say, I wanna be better at it, but I want to do it my way, and I want to do it I say the only thing you can learn from yourself is what you already know. You can't teach yourself something new. You have to read something, you have to talk to people, you have to go places. So everything you say there, which is correct, and everything Devon is saying is correct. And I know for a fact that that's what he does. He has no choice. He has to put himself in a situation where his hand is forced to be, at sometimes, the smallest guy in the room. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself in a situation where you're not the smartest guy in the room. And it took me a while to learn that, because I always wanted to be heard and seen. And now it's like, I just want to be over here in the corner. And so when I work with Nelly and I work with Lindsay, people see them in the business. They don't see me. My picture's not on the logo. And I remember when I created that logo for Nelly. And I remember when she said, well, where are you going to be? And I said, I'm behind you in the picture. You can't see me in the graphic, but I'm back. But I'm back there. Like, I'm behind you pushing. You can't see me. Because every time I come into a situation, I need to know, and I'm learning this, when I need to shine and when I need to shut up and let the situation shine. And that right there is big. I saw a couple of comments pop up. What do we got?
Yes, and Ruth says, and my hubby does it with grace.
Yeah, I know from knowing him. I know it for a fact.
Alan says, I respect but don't worship you.
Not even necessary to say. I get
right.
it.
Devon already said, I'm always around people that are
Yeah, I just quoted it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Dr. Brown said, any great math person that I have encountered in my professional development workshops, I have stayed in contact, and they are continuing to enhance my math teaching and curriculum development.
See, it's having those people around you that challenge you. But now we're taking it out of the math curriculum and out of the school and out of that, and say, and that ultimate vision or that thing that you believe you're called to, if you haven't. I mean, if you're happy where you are, it doesn't make a difference. But if you know you're called to something bigger and huger, who are the people you around that's pulling you there? Like, what, saying what Alan said, I respect you, but I don't worship you. So who cares? I don't care about that. I mean, that's not an impressive statement, and that's something I said to you. So my thing is, where is the community of people that are pulling you into greatness, or the thing you're called to? Where are they? Who are the people? And what are you learning from them in this season? I am looking to buy a house or property. I want 20 doors. And what I mean by that is I want 20 tenants and above. I would love, this building here has 300 tenants. I would love to be in a place where I could say, I like this building. If it's worth it, I want to buy it. I even asked questions about it and found out that I could buy it for 150 million. But then I said, okay. And then they told me, I said, 150 million, that's it? And then he said, yeah, well, the land has already been sold to another company. And I was like, well, then why would I want the building? So then I wind up being a tenant of my own property. That's ridiculous. I want the land. You keep the building. The land is worth more to me than the building. The land is worth more than the property, worth more than the stuff built on it every time. So I said, well, then that deal is dead to me. I don't even want to have a conversation about it anymore. But do I have the finances to make that kind of deal? No. But I'm willing to sit down and talk to people about it who know how it works and learn about that. Even having the conversation to me was just like, whew. But I grabbed it. And because of that, I'm now around people that are having conversations that go deeper than what I understand about real estate. This is what I'm saying. Stretching yourself beyond the common statements that you know how to say and you like to say. You know, I'm not here to impress people. I'm here, especially at this point in my life, to fulfill my destiny. I'm not here to prove something to somebody. I'm past that. There's too many things I haven't proven to myself. And we try to prove other things to other people because we know inside of ourselves we haven't reached where we're supposed to go. That is a very solitary place. I'm sure Tabitha sat home by herself many nights and wept, because it's a solitary place when you reaching for something and nobody sees what you're reaching for but you, and people just don't get it. It's a very real place though, and it's the best thing that could happen to you when you reach it. At least get on a road to it. It's powerful. Nelly, did you want to jump in on anything? I'm just talking away. You just sitting there smiling.
No, you guys covered it.
She whispered, no, you guys covered it. She's very mousy tonight for some reason. So.
We have some more comments. Lindsay said, I had to make room for others who were more successful than me, and that required me offloading others. As a result, I now have relationships with others who have achieved more, and it's refreshing. And then Devon said, fun fact, real estate is very important in the film industry. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to Lindsay's statement. Read that last part again. She said she had to offload.
Yeah. Yes. She had to offload. Okay, I'll just read it. I had to make room for others who were more successful than me, and that required me offloading others. As a result, I now have relationships with others who have achieved more, and it's refreshing.
So what she means by offloading is getting rid of people, right, that don't serve the purpose that she thought they did or felt she needed them to have. But it also required her to get rid of people, I'm guessing this now, that she needed around her to look up to her, that made her feel important because they looked up to her. And that one right there, that's very important, that you start to say, well, I need to get rid of the hanger-ons. I need to get rid of those people who are looking at me as some great big deal because they want to somehow live vicariously through me. And I've not heard anybody successful not say that I had to let people go. I had to move on. I had to, family especially, they would say, I had to move on. I had to let them go. Why? Because they're looking at me now, once you start to succeed, and thinking that they're supposed to hang on just because they know you, but then they take time away from you being around the people you need to be around to help you get where you want to go. It's a very trying situation for people to walk away from people that look up to them, and they want to choose people that they feel they're equal to or better than to stay around. It's man, listen, You don't fulfill a dream by hanging around people that are where you are or slightly above you. You just don't. It causes you. And I guess the question I would ask Lindsay to that comment is, when you now get around the people who are above where you want to be, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel inferior? Does it make you feel like you need to try to compete with them and prove to them they're equals or on the same page as them? Does it put you in student mode? Like, what does it do to you? Like, what does it do for you when you get around that environment? I know it may be a combination of some of all of it, but I'm curious to know in the chat what she feels when she has to deal with people that are on that level.
Okay, she's definitely commented a few times. She said, and I keep those relationships private. It's not everyone's business what I'm doing. Thank you, Mr. Brown. And she just commented, she feels like she's being stretched. It feels good to be the small one in the room. Definitely student mode, and they're so giving that I feel very welcomed. She also says my ego has had to die. And it's still a journey, but I'm thankful for the transition.
That's what I'm looking for.
Opened so many doors. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was looking for. Right. You don't grow without that ego dying. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Anybody who's led by emotion like that, they don't grow. They could talk a good game, but they don't grow, because emotion will always make you make decisions that's counterproductive to your success. It'll make you destroy relationships that are necessary to your growth. It'll make you pull away from people that you need to be pulling closer to, and situations. You can't grow and you can't develop unless you're willing to constantly push all that emotion and all that, I would say, I don't want to use the word passion, but it's passion. It's a unhealthy passion to win and be gratified immediately instead of grow into your gratification. To be in a place where you don't even realize how far you got, and one day somebody points it out to you and you go, oh wow, yeah, that happened. And something Nelly said to me today, I didn't think about it. God told me to get another car. I got the car, and I didn't think about it. And she said to me, wow, every time God levels you up, he levels up everything around you. From your home to the car to the people and I said, wow, I didn't really think about it like that, because I'm busy doing what needs to be done. I remember when I worked with Esther and we finally made it to Broadway, and as soon as we made it, and then the whole Oscar nomination, I said, you know what I'm going to ask you, right? And she said, yeah, what's next? And I was like, right, we didn't even, it wasn't even done yet. We had just landed. And I was like, okay, so now what's next? Because I know if I get comfortable, and I'm not saying you're supposed to not get comfortable and enjoy life, but if I get comfortable in that proud way of where I am, I won't seek depth. I won't. I want to stay there. And again, I got to be very careful. I'm learning that people with low self-esteems are not as bad of a problem than people with overinflated self-esteems. They're the worst. And low self-esteem people a lot of times will compensate for low self-esteem by overinflating their image in front of everybody else. And that's a compensation, but it's a deadly one. It doesn't bring any, and that person almost is stuck. You can't do anything with them. But people that have a low self-esteem but know they need to grow, that's a different animal. that person is going to do something, and they're ready to lay it down. And am I speaking correctly? Yeah. Every seed must die in the ground before it grows. That's a biblical truth. You can't get away from it. He who exalts himself will be brought down. He who humbles himself and makes himself a base will be brought up. I can give you a million scriptural revelations about it. You know, a man who comes into the banquet and sits himself at the head of the table will be brought down to the back, and he'll be made to look a fool. But the man who goes and sits himself at the back and let the host recognize him and bring him up, he didn't bring himself up, but he let the host bring him up, that person will be great honor. So I've really been practicing strong, at least I would say in the past almost decade, to go sit in the back of the room. Just go sit down. And just let everybody else shine and let everybody else be seen. And you sit back there, because when you get brought up, you'll be brought up by God. And there's nothing more powerful than that. And that's where real visions and dreams come from. Because visions and dreams manifest themselves when you're sitting in the back of the room being quiet. When you're away from all the noise, you can hear better. You can hear better. All the people around you praising you. Look at all these artists. Look at these people. The Justin Biebers. Look at them. And they tell you, everybody was everywhere, all in my face, telling me how great I am. In the meantime, my life was slipping away from under me. I wanted to kill myself. You've heard them say this stuff. Why? The noise of ego. It's terrible. And so quietness is where you are heard and where you hear. And that's powerful. Look like Lindsay's the only one commenting tonight, huh? And everybody else is what's going on here. I mean, you didn't log off, so you like me, but yeah.
Christine said something too.
Who, Christine? Mm-hmm. Oh, my niece? Hi, Christine, yes. My niece. Nelly, if you're going to read and talk, you need to speak up. I'm sorry.
I was just reading.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Or was you going to read it?
All right. Christine said, when you surround yourself with those you look up to, it feels like you are inadequate, yet it pushes you to strive and come up higher.
She's right.
Yeah.
She's spot on. And it does. But she said it right. It doesn't feel good. It's challenging. It makes you feel like, am I the dumbest person here? Yeah, sometimes you feel like that. But you know what I've learned about people who are good teachers? They love good students. They love good students. They love it. What else we got?
Okay. She said also it's also helpful to give back to others what you as you are being mentored, so you can see and measure how much you've grown.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I understand. You understand what she means by that? As you're learning it, and Christine, you can correct me if I'm wrong. As you're learning it, it's good for you to then immediately go and regurgitate and give it to someone else so that you can learn what you've learned by sharing it.
Right. That's good. Lindsay said that's a death sentence, and I think she was responding when you were talking about the ego. Mm-hmm. I commented while you were talking because you were flowing. You taught us about our, knowing our worth, Mr. Brown, and all of these things are coming about around full circle. I was asked to sing for a gig last weekend, and I thought about you, and I said, no, can't do this for free. I'm going to tell them what I want. And I got just that, and it was an amazing feeling. So listen, if you're here, you're going to learn something, and one day the opportunity will come and you will get to exercise what you've learned. So I want to thank you, Mr. Brown. I will not have a problem again, ever, telling people what I'm worth.
So pay me.
And the price is the price.
Pay me. That's it. That's right. Well, here's the thing I learned, and I was telling Nelly this, like whenever I would tell her she needs to raise the price, and she would be concerned. And then people come, I can't afford that. And I said, but look at the bag she's carrying. Look at the shoes. Designer this, designer that. But I can't afford to pay you that. but I'll go to the Louis Vuitton store or whoever and give them some ridiculous amount of money for a bag that ain't even worth that because it's the name. Well, then you're telling me that you don't feel that my value is what these people's value is to you. And I have to conclude that for somehow I must have told you that my value wasn't that. Because you feel it's okay to say to me, I'm not going to give you that, but I'll go give it to a stranger. It's serious. So I'm glad to hear, that's part of vision, because you can't grow your company or anything if you go out there with the attitude that people are doing you a favor to pay you your worth. You're not doing me a favor. I'm giving you a service and you deciding that I'm valuable or I'm not to you. And man, people a lot of time will read your energy. You hear what I'm saying? This is funny because when I went to the dealer yesterday to get the car, I understood a couple of things. And I'll share these with you. These may be helpful. When you go to a car dealer, especially if it's a pre-owned car or a used car, every day that car's on the lot, they're paying taxes on it. They're losing money. If the car stays on the lot longer than 3 months, they're at a loss. They're in trouble. The heads are up above them, and I'm talking about especially if it's a brand dealer, not Joe's car lot, even though they're going through the same thing, but especially a major brand lot that's on a used car, they lose money after a while. It's not worth it for them to have the car on the lot. They got to get rid of it. They'll sell it to a wholesale lot, a mom and pop lot, just to get rid of it because it's starting to cost them. So when I got there, I realized you've had this car for 3 weeks. It's been sitting here for 3 weeks. Yeah, well, because we never put it out to sell because we had to add brakes and we had to do this and I said, right, you had to bring it up to date in order to try to sell it. But you've had it for 3 weeks. You need to get rid of this car. And I need to take it from you. And I need this price to make me happy about that. And they came back and they pushed back. But between the haggling and the pushing back, I drove away with a BMW X5 for 18 cash out the door because they had to get rid of it. And I understood that. But if I go in there not knowing my worth and knowing what the issues are around me, I would have paid $25,000, $30,000 for it. I was like, you got to get rid of this. And you're an Audi dealer? Oh, you got to get rid of this car. I already know in a minute you're going to have to let it go to a mom and pop lot for exactly what you paid for it at auction or wherever you got it. And you know the guy looked at me and said, yeah, you know your stuff. You're absolutely right. And I know I'm right. You got to get rid of this. And I came to help you out. And that's the difference in knowing your worth, I'm not being cocky and arrogant about it. I came there with a sense of worth. And I came there with an understanding of what I came to get at this season of my life and what I was willing to pay for it. We negotiated until we found a place that we were both happy. I knew what my number was. And away I went. So I'm telling you, I learned that from being quiet around successful people. I learned that from being humble around successful people. And once they realized I was a student, they opened up their bag and they started teaching. I don't care if they're younger than me or older than me. If they know something I don't know, and they understand something I don't understand, all of this that you see me do when I'm on here, Nellie will tell you, I turned sheep and immediate. And she said, wow, you just became a different person around them. I was in student mode. I just got like, oh, wow, yes, sir, wow, no, that, wow, I didn't know that, wow. And she said, you're so strong and forceful, then you got around them and you just went like this. I said, student mode. I'm student mode, I'm here to learn. I'm not here to teach. I'm not here to try to impress them. I'm here to learn from them. So while I'm in student mode, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna hear what they gotta say. I'm gonna take it all in. I'm gonna marinate. I'm gonna digest, and I'm not gonna open my mouth until I get everything I want. And I'll hear them talk, and I'll say, "Well, can you answer me this? Well, can you tell me this?" And they'll go on for hours talking. So I learned that recently about cars. And I was like, "Oh, really?" And I sat with it till it was real. And when I went there with understanding. And that's how you do all business, and that's how you grow businesses. And one of the things she's going to talk about when we get to the next week, she talks about swiftly about how she had to pivot, how she had to change her approach and change her mind. She had to change. She had to change the way she did stuff. And she says that. Remember that, Nelly? She said, I had to learn how to change my approach. I had to learn how to work with people. She said that. We're going to get into that. We went a little over time, but it was more than a pleasure. If you have any final comments, any last words, slap some likes up in there, just show some communication. It helps the algorithm. It helps us grow. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you like, if you didn't like, put the notification thing, hit that. So next time we on, you'll get an alert. And tell people, help me. I'm giving your stuff that you'll have to join classes and pay money for. I'm giving that to you for free because I want to help you grow, but I also want to help me grow. And what I'm trying to do is, and going to do is, I want to get 1 million followers by the summer. That's a goal of mine. See, that's a lofty goal. That's my goal. And you can help me as I'm helping you get there. Tell people, follow me, like, share, subscribe, comment. Put some comments in here. That's important to the algorithm. The algorithm sees it, the algorithm acknowledges it, and the algorithm pushes the video forward. Amen. What we got, Edwards, before we wrap up?
Okay. Let's see. Let me scroll.
And before you do, I want to say thank you for those of you who stayed on consistently, because I've seen it's been sitting at 12 subscribers for the whole hour. And I'm telling you, that's good for the algorithm for us, because to the algorithm, that's 12 watch hours. Where if I keep putting up 30-second video stuff, it take a long time for me to hit that. What's it, 4,000 watch hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get 4,000. That's when YouTube starts to pay. They don't pay until I get to 4,000. Right now we're about what, 3 something?
You should be about 300.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm excited about that 3 because we really just started doing the YouTube seriously. A few months ago?
A year now.
No, we didn't start doing YouTube.
Oh, the lives?
The lives and the really saying we're going to take over YouTube and start focusing on YouTube.
Yeah, just a few months. Like
A couple of months, about 2 months. Right? We was focused on Instagram, until Corey said, Instagram don't pay. Like you just working for free. You need TikTok and YouTube. And I said, okay, Lord, then I don't let Instagram be whatever. This is where we need to grow, and this is where we're growing. So we stopped doing lives on. Zoom first. Then we went from Zoom to Instagram, and then a couple of months ago we dropped. Yeah, because this is only like our 4th live on YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a little over a month, not even 2 months yet, and we grew from under 100 subscribers to 500 and change.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it, and I thank you guys for that. But bring the people in, comment, say something, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification. This is what helps me to stay on here and keep doing this. Thank you. Go ahead, Edwards. Bring it home.
All right. Devon says, I'm listening. Nat says, I'm taking it all in as well. Devon said, I learned how to humble myself and check my ego at the door.
Yes, sir.
Christine says, yes, that is correct, Unc. Devon says, also keeping my mind like a sponge to absorb knowledge keeps me youthful.
Yeah, it does. Boy, it does, Devon. Man, you turn into an old wise man right now. I mean, we're going to put a little monk robe on you in the hood and throw you up in the mountain somewhere.
Ruth says, LOL, I like that. Mr. Jones, Alan Jones says, thank you, my brother. Christine, thank you. This was helpful. I said 1 million followers by the summer. I'm putting it in the chat so we can look back at it. Lindsay said, nice, will help for sure. And Lindsay says, come on, Brother Devon. Yes, indeed. There's been a lot of great engagement today and a lot of great comments. We are definitely growing.
I love you, brother Alan. I love you, my new niece, Christina. Pleasure to have you as my niece. Devon, Ruth, Sophie. Am I missing anybody?
Lindsay.
Natalie. Can't miss Lindsay. Natalie. Oh, Natalie's here?
Yep, Natalie's here too.
Love you, Natalie. Who else?
Sophie, Dr.
Sophie,
Brown.
gotta get my Sophie, my Dr. Brown.
Yes, let me keep going. Yep, that's everybody for the most part.
Well, that's enough for me. Listen, I know people who do lives and they've told me, I've done a live and it'll be 2 people on, 1 person on it, and they just do the whole thing. They say, I'll just take that 1 hour. But so you guys are a blessing and more than a blessing to be here. I'm doing my best to be a blessing to you, and you guys also are a blessing to me. So this is mutual. Trust me when I say it. And come on back, bring some people with you. Even if they're all with you in the same room, go make them log on in a different, go in another room and log on separately so we can get these hours up. It's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Co-host, Miss Edwidge Michelle, I love you and appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
And my Nellie, she's here. She's logged in, sitting right next to me. She logged in. And you didn't mention her, but she's here. Thank you, baby. And we are going to be here again next Tuesday. My goal is, I've been instructed to, and I'm going to follow the instruction, that we start going live 3 days a week. So we're trying to figure out what day, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday or Thursday and Saturday, whatever, but we're going to be going live 3 days a week in the near future. Once we get this OBS thing locked down and get it working the way it's supposed to, it's going to be a ball. We're going to have ourselves a good time. And so, you can be ready for that. Again, let people know. Or maybe we could do a live 2 days and then on the 3rd day, do a run playback live. Could do that as well. Or we could do some recording and then just run the live whenever we need to. This is going to be huge, 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 huge. And the speaking engagements and the traveling and the talking and all the stuff that goes with it. And you guys are coming along and you get to be there from the beginning to see how it's done. So when you come and say, okay, I'm ready to launch my channel, you're going to get to see how we started from here and went to there. And you're going to do the same. And love and appreciate you all. And look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, if not before. And we are doing great things and going after great things. You ready? Let's grow. Good night.